Yeah.
Name's Keegan. I'm a communication major. Wanted to know a little bit about what this new field does for the team going forward and for recruiting.
The field, and I think that all the Gale alums from the last 30 years have been kind of waiting for this field. We had an umpire out here who came to St. Mary's College and was recruited in 1977 and was recruited under the promise of a new field. So I think for all our faithful, it gives us an opportunity to give them what they didn't have. And he came in and talked to the team afterwards and said that we're not just playing for ourselves in the future, but for the guys that came before him. So, I mean, it's really changed. It's really changed our approach in recruiting. We went from probably the oldest, most antiquated facility on the West Coast to a nice, shiny, sparkling new facility. I have no doubt that it's had an impact on recruiting so far. Yeah.
My name's Ryan. I'm a communication major as well. What do you think the new field's going to do as far as motivation for your team and how they play on the field?
Well, I think the kids are motivated anyway, with or without the facility, and I give a lot of credit to our coaching staff to try and keep the guys focused one pitch at a time. But they are extremely excited to play on it. I think it certainly adds a pressure element for our players to perform, and I think that's a good thing. I think that that's the way it should be, and for our coaching staff, we feel the same way. I took this job in 2003 with the idea that I'd get a new facility and I'd have that kind of pressure, and now that we have the facility portion of it, I'm looking forward to that challenge. We will, however, have to finish this project with the stadium. San Diego just unleashed their new stadium. They're a perennial power in our conference, and they're building a new $28 million facility. Gonzaga 5 years ago opened up their new facility, which is a $10 million facility, and in Spokane it goes a long way. So for us to keep up with the Joneses in our conference, we need to finish this thing, and the sooner we finish it, the more of a fair playing field we'll be on. But we're excited for that challenge.
Jedd, I'll pop in if that's okay. I had a head start seeing him last week, but you discussed the drainage issues. We don't have a lot of rainouts in the Bay Area, but when you do get rain, in terms of a maintenance, is this more easily maintained with not dealing with the drainage stuff that you discussed?
Yeah, so when I took the job in 2003, the Gisto, the old Gisto, is in the worst location on campus where all the water drains to. The water table is actually 7 feet below the surface. So there's nowhere the water can go. And that's why they built that creek. But when I first came in, it was a swamp. And for 30 years, it was a swamp. So when it came for me to try and schedule outside opponents to come in, they wouldn't play us. And we brought Cal Poly in my first year, and we played in the mud. And they went and told everybody, do not play at St. Mary's College. And rightfully so, the kids could get hurt. And we just dealt with it. You know, our kids looked at it as an advantage, and we tried to turn it into a positive. But the reality of it was the scheduling was extremely difficult. We put in close to $250,000, $300,000 in drainage on that field in the last 8 years. That was one of my major priorities. On this field, we built it to take in 22 inches of rain a day. It's not going to rain 22 inches in a day. We've been watering it 3 times a day for the last month and a half to try and get the roots to catch. There's a collection basin out behind left field. If you haven't been out there, you should take a look. And the reason we have a collection basin is because the town of Moraga can only handle so much water. And they told us in building this field, because the water table is so high, we need something that's going to help us so that we don't get too much water too quickly. So we have a collection basin. We bought a couple pretty expensive pieces of equipment that will help filter that water in the town of Moraga in a timely fashion, in case we get a day where we have that kind of rain. Yeah.
Sharice, I'm a politics major at Tom Minor. So where are the funds for this project coming from? Is there major donors from alumni or what?
So I think what kicked off this project, and not just this project, but the Mario Alioto Center, is a longtime donor for our program and for St. Mary's College. His name is Ken Hoffman. Ken used to be the half owner of the Oakland A's with Steve Schott. If you don't know, Steve Schott built Santa Clara's facility 5 years ago. And Ken's been very generous to the school. In fact, I believe his construction company built McKeon Gym. There's a tribute to him and his family in the middle of campus. And Ken, I want to say 3 years ago, came to us and said, I want to see this stadium go before I pass. He's maybe 85 now, 83, 85 years old. And so he was the first gentleman that stepped up with some money and directly for the baseball field. We had to get the baseball field moved so that we could build a rec center, and that's the ideal location for the project. Since that time, we have received upwards of $24 million, but Ken Hoffman was the one that really kicked the project off. And we've had about $24 million raised with 4 or 5 groups of people. And it's a testament to what we do here at St. Mary's College and people giving back after they graduate.
So what is the expected overall cost for the facility?
I was told in an interview the other day that it's $26 million for the rec center and the baseball field and stadium to be completed. It's a $30 million project. $4 million will go to maintaining the facilities, such as a full-time field crew, maintaining the equipment in the rec center, staffing the rec center. It endows these 2 facilities really forever. So we're about $4 million that we're going to need to raise for that.
The rec center's going to be right up here?
Correct.
Okay.
The rec center is going to be right on the other side. Now, the stadium that we're building, baseball is going to be on the other side. It's going to be on the first base side. I like the third base side, but we're going to work with softball, who is going to get their locker rooms, and they'll be at the end of the stadium on this side, as well as men's and women's tennis. So for facility purposes, it's better for them to be on this side. And I understand that and support that fully.